Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank you for joining this workshop today. My name is Dr. Judy Scherer. I will be moderating the workshop entitled Turning Research into Revenue, presented by Dr. Tanisha Lamille. A short description of the workshop today includes: after many years of sacrifice, hard work, and relentless perseverance to finish, many graduates are left with the question, what will I do with my degree? Not all scholars want to pursue careers in higher education, and even some of those that do are still left wanting more. The purpose of the workshop is to help doctoral students, PhDs, and other scholars determine how to apply their expertise to make a difference in the real world and turn their research into viable businesses. The workshop is appropriate for anyone interested in starting and growing a successful business. The workshop will guide the attendees through the strategic thought process of solidifying their business ideas, identifying their target market, and establishing their brand. In addition, the attendees will receive a host of free and low cost tools to help them build and manage their business. Just a short bio of Dr. Lamille before she comes on is Dr. Lamille is an accomplished entrepreneur, corporate trainer, consultant, and strategist. She began her professional career as a high school Spanish teacher before going back to school to complete her master's degree in human resource management and then to earn her doctorate degree in business administration. She spent several years in corporate arena working her way up to vice president of employment for a national financial firm services for a national financial service firm before she gave into her passion of entrepreneurship. Dr. Lamille is the owner and CEO of The Clever Site, where she helps small businesses do it big, BIG, online. As an online strategist and business consultant, she has helped evaluate the brand, she has helped elevate the brand of attorneys, therapists, authors, coaches around the country. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our workshop presenter today, Dr. Tanisha Lamille.
Thank you, Dr. Shearer. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and I'm thrilled that I have my high school classmate that joined us, Dr. Shamita Floyd. It's so good to see you here, and my client and friend, Cassandra Freeman. So hello to both of you guys, and thank you so much for coming out and supporting this morning. Thank you, Dr. Shearer, for the introduction, and Deandra and the Black Doctoral Network for this opportunity. And I have to give a big thanks and shout out to Brittany Reed. She's my administrative coordinator, and I couldn't do this without her. She helps support keep me on time and on track. So I'm going to jump right into my presentation because I do have a lot of good information to share. So I'm going to begin sharing my screen here. Give me 1 second. Okay, are you guys seeing my screen now? Yes, you are screen sharing, great. Okay, so like you said, I am Dr. Tanisha Lamille, owner of The Clever Site, where we do it big online. We help small businesses grow their online presence. But today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can turn your research or intellectual capital into revenue, a viable and profitable business. Sorry, my clicker isn't working here. There we go. Okay. So just a quick overview of the presentation. Normally, I like to kind of get to know everyone so I can tailor the message kind of specifically to your research. But we have a kind of large group today, so I'm going to ask you to take notes in the chat or reach out to me afterwards. I'd love to know what meet each of you and know what you do. Hopefully, you'll connect with me online on LinkedIn or one of our social platforms. So we'll talk a little about, this is actually, I've done this presentation a few times at the Black Doctoral Network and other platforms. And I've kind of combined a part one and part two because there's just so much information and I love sharing it with people who are hungry and have a desire to launch their business. So hopefully I'll give you some really important tools and resources to do that today. So we'll look at is there profit in your problem statement? Everyone who has a dissertation or is going through that dissertation process, had to create a problem statement. So we want to see, is there a profit in that problem statement? And then we're going to talk about the action plan. What is the offer? Who's your audience? How do you connect with that audience? Getting paid, right? This is all about making money. This is about profit. So how do you get paid? Your product pricing and your revenue streams. We'll look at revenue models, resources, networks. Then we will have, I have a couple of giveaways. One is going to be kind of a drawing. So if you want to be in that drawing, Brittany's going to be taking your names basically off of whatever name you have listed on your screen here today. So if it's different for some reason, make sure Brittany knows what name you want to be entered into the drawing that we'll do today. And then I do have a small gift after. And of course, I will try to save time for questions. So just a little bit about me. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Dr. Scherer already read my bio. You can learn more about me on my website or on through my LinkedIn page. Getting to know you, like I said, I would love an opportunity to connect with each one of you. So if you would reach out to me on my LinkedIn page, I'm going to ask Brittany if you can go and pull the link and put that in the chat so that they can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd appreciate that. How I hope to help you today. I hope to help each one of you who are scholars who have spent all this time researching and becoming experts in your field, figure out how to get a return on that investment, right? We invested a lot of time, money, blood, sweat, and tears in getting these degrees. So now how can we get a return on that? And I'd also like to know what you would like to learn. Like I said, I'd like to tailor my presentations to the audience. So if you have something specific that you'd like me to speak on that you didn't see in the overview there, please add that to the chat, or you can ask me at the end and I will try to address that as well. So is there a problem? Is there profit in your problem statement? As a scholar, like I said, you've invested in yourself. You are an expert in your field. Your dissertation may never reach the hands of the people who need it the most. But if you have curated a level of expertise that can help someone else, then you want to make sure that you're helping as many people as you can. You've made an investment in yourself of time, money, and effort. Now it's time to see a return on that investment. But before we do, I want everyone to have a quick reality check. I hope you brought paper and pen because I'd like you to take some notes here. There are 5 questions that you must ask yourself before you even decide that you want to be an entrepreneur or start a business. There's 4 on the screen, but there's 5 questions. And that very first question is why? Why do you want to start a business? And if you've not asked yourself this question, then stop, drop everything, and let's start here. Why do you want to start a business? A lot of people say they want to start a business for the money. If that's the only reason, then I can tell you you're going to be disappointed. Because yes, being an entrepreneur, owning a small business can be very profitable. However, you don't wake up a millionaire, right? It takes money to make money. So if you really want to do this and you're doing it all for the money, just know that you're going to be a little bit disappointed in the beginning because it takes a while most times for you to become profitable. The first few years of my business, I was investing into my business before I was actually profitable and able to make a profit from my business. So doing it just for the money, it's expensive to be in business, right? You're going to have expenses and there's always going to be financial challenges, not to say that you can't overcome them and not to say that you can't be financially successful. But if you're doing it just for the money, owning a business is hard work. And so money is not always the best motivator. It's a good motivator. And yes, you do want to be profitable and you want to, money should, drive some things, but I just hope that that's not your only why. If you're doing it because it's your passion, then I can tell you, you're going to be frustrated. If you're just wanting to start a business because you're passionate about this cause or this topic that you wrote your dissertation on, or that you've spent the last 10 years studying and researching, you're going to be very frustrated because, again, owning a business can be very challenging. It can also be very rewarding. And I'm certainly not trying to discourage anyone. I love entrepreneurship and I would love to see all of you to take that leap if that's something that you desire to do. But if you're doing it just for the passion, then again, I think you're going to be very, very frustrated. I was very passionate about my first business that I started, but I can tell you that was not the business that I'm in today. I was not passionate at all about websites when I started this business. And I'll save that story for another time, but I'll tell you that passion can only take you so far. So what do you want to do and why do you want to do it? I want you to spend some time thinking about that. And I do want to recommend a book. It's Start With Why. You have to know your why. So Start With Why by Simon Sinek is a great book to help you through that. The other 4 questions, 1 is the problem big enough to be worth solving? 2, is there a market for the solution that you're offering? Remember that the consumer may not necessarily be the customer, and we'll talk more about that later. Is your business model sustainable? And then what are the barriers to entry, and are you willing to overcome those barriers? If you've not thought about those things, I recommend you taking a screenshot of this one and just spend some time thinking about it, praying about, journaling, whatever it is that you do, but definitely spend some time going over these questions in your head or on paper. Productizing your expertise. So everybody has an idea, you have this expertise, but how do you productize it so that you can sell it? What is your offer going to be to your audience? Well, again, we're talking about research, right? We're turning research into revenue. So this is something that's not necessarily tangible, but so how are you going to sell it? There are many ways that you can sell and package your expertise. You can do it through content creation, whether it's writing a book, writing white papers, writing publishing. And one thing I want to encourage you to do is start doing this part now. Regardless of what business you're in, you're going to want to create content around that. Pull pieces from your dissertation, publish in peer-reviewed journals, write blogs, write white papers, write a book, whatever it is that you want to do, and give as much of it as you can away for free. If you want to do that because you want to establish yourself as an expert in your industry. Right now, people don't know what it is that you offer or what your level of expertise is. So start giving that content away and start helping people for free. Build that value, build yourself up as that expert in your area, that authority. You can also do consulting, coaching, and training. This is a very easy way to integrate yourself into that entrepreneurship role. You can do one-on-one coaching. You can do group coaching. You can also do private Facebook groups where you get people together. And there's even joint ventures and partnerships where you can partner with someone that has something, a business or an idea that complements yours. Bring your audience together and do a joint venture. I have a couple of joint ventures that I work on, and they're a lot of fun, they're profitable, and it's a great way to build your business, especially in the beginning, because doing it by yourself, entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey. Of course, those of you who've completed your dissertation, you already know about those lonely journeys. So I know that I'm speaking to people here that can relate. Other things you can do are speaking engagements. Digital products. You can make a digital product around your intellectual capital. You can also offer webinars and course creation. So these are just some of the ideas, some of the products that you can offer for your business. Okay. I'm not sure why my little clicker keeps messing up here, but let me go back. Here we go. Okay, so let's think about it. What is the problem that you will solve? Who is your customer? And what is your offer or the product or service that you will be offering? Think about those things and write those down. What is the problem that you're going to solve? Who is your customer? And what is the offer or the product or service that you will be offering? We'll come back to that. Connecting with your audience is very, very important. Who's buying what you're offering? You want to think about who your audience is. And actually, you're probably going to have, or may very likely have, more than one audience in some instances. One audience may be the consumer. The consumer is the end user of the product or the service that you are offering, but the consumer is not always the person that's buying your product, okay? So an example, a kid eats a piece of candy that his dad bought for him. The kid is the consumer because he ate the candy, right? but he's not necessarily the customer. As a business owner, you've got to know the difference. There's a significant difference between the two, and business owners should study their consumer habits. Even though they're not the ones paying you, you've got to study your consumer habits to judge the usefulness of your product and service, right? So if you have a product or a service where you are counseling maybe addicts, those addicts are the consumers of the counseling and coaching that you're doing, but they're probably not the customer, right? You're probably going to be selling to an agency or the family member or so forth. So again, you want to make sure that you know the difference between the customer and the consumer. So the customer actually purchased the product or service, as I mentioned. That's the one who makes that financial transaction or the money exchange. The customer has to be confident that the product you're selling is going to meet the need of the consumer. So think about the product or service that you're offering, and then ask yourself, are the customer and the consumer the same? And if not, how do you differentiate between the two? Next. So a very, very important part of starting a business, launching a business, is your network. And I can tell you through my complete doctoral journey, and I have a doctorate in business administration, I don't remember taking one single course on networking. However, I will say that networking is one of the most important parts of my business being profitable. So if you are not a networker, and trust me, I was not, I hated networking. I'm very much an introvert. I don't like going to events and having to hand out my business card and all that type of stuff. But I can tell you, I had to learn what networking really was and how to do it the right way. Networking really is going to be very crucial to your business. One thing I want you to know, that networking is not selling. And that's what I didn't understand going into it. Networking is not selling. It's not about selling your product. Networking is about building relationships. Networking is not about going to events and just passing out cards. And networking is nothing if it's not strategic and it's not intentional. So you want to be very intentional about building your networks, about building those relationships with people that can help you build your business. Your network may be full of people who don't even use your service, but they probably know a lot of people that do. So you want to have referral partners or people that you can work with that know what you do and that will champion your cause. And the way you find those people is through networking. So here I put down just a few examples of ways that you can network. And remember, all of these, the professional networks, chambers, BNI, industry and trade groups. If you go to any of these events and organizations, remember, don't go there to sell your product. Don't go there to pass out business cards. Go there to build relationships. In addition to these types of professional networks, there's cause networking. And you cause network basically through nonprofit involvement. So if there's a cause that you're passionate about, go to those different events. You will always find CEOs and decision makers for businesses at these nonprofit events. So find something that may complement, or maybe not, your business, but at least something that you're passionate about, where you can go and meet people and talk to people and just tell them what you do. So cause networking is very important. Sponsorships, you can sponsor different events and get your name out there that way. And then, of course, you can do speaking engagements. For me, this is another networking opportunity. I'm showing up. I don't know how many people on the call, but hopefully I'll have a few more in my network today. Hopefully some of you, like I said, will join with me on LinkedIn and we can continue the conversation after today. And then there's mentoring. You can always network through mentoring other people or making sure that you have a mentor as well. Okay, so I know I've said a lot, and so I do want to, and I talk really fast, so I do want to take just a moment to see, are there any questions about anything I've said so far? If you have a question, if you put it in the chat, and I'm going to ask Brittany to monitor the chat for me, and just let me know if we have any questions before we go to the next part. No questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next part. Getting paid. This is what we came for, right? Getting paid. How are you going to get paid? What is your pricing model going to be? Is that pricing model profitable? And then we'll look at your revenue model. Your revenue model must be consistent and your pricing model must be profitable. Let's start with the revenue model here. So there's basically 3 steps to your revenue model. Your first is your value proposition. This is what sets you apart from the competition, right? This is the value that you bring to your customer and to your consumer. Your value proposition statement should actually tell exactly what the benefit is that you offer, right? It should tell the problem you solve. It should state the end benefit or the solution that you're offering. And it should describe the person or group that needs your service. Okay, so for example, the Clever site, we are a digital marketing agency. We help small business owners get their life back. We reduce their overwhelm and their stress that comes with managing your business online, giving them the benefit of focusing on the things that they do best. They can go back and focus on their business and have time to enjoy their family because they're not trying to manage their online presence. Business owners very often get overwhelmed with the idea of trying to do their SEO and their social media and making sure their website is up to date and all of that. So that's the value that we bring as a digital marketing agency to small businesses. We help them focus on what they do best while we take care of their website, freeing up time and money for them to do the things that they need to do. You must have a brand strategy. This is the second step to your revenue model. Okay, not only do you have to bring value, but you need to build a brand that is recognizable, right? You want to get a brand that's out there. You want to have a brand that represents you and the business that you offer. You want to make sure that your brand, you market your brand, you build it, and you protect your brand reputation. And as you know, it's very easy today for a brand to lose their reputation because people can very quickly post a review online if they are dissatisfied. So we've got your value proposition. What value are you bringing? What benefit are you offering? What solution are you providing? And who are you providing that to? Then we have your brand strategy, developing your brand identity and establishing your brand voice so that people recognize you and are able to identify with you. And then finally, we have the delivery of that product. Okay, this is how you get to revenue. You've got your products, your services, develop your pricing model, and then decide if you're going to sell your product or your service online or offline or both. You do have the option to do both, okay? So this is the unique value proposition. Again, I want you to take a minute and write down and try to come up with your own unique value proposition. And you'll probably massage this over time, change it up a little bit. It's your business, it's your idea, so you will create this to something that you're happy with, but something that actually speaks to the client. People often refer to the unique value proposition as the elevator speech because it's something that you should be able to say in like 30 to 60 seconds. But a value proposition is a lot more than just an elevator speech. You're not just telling them who you are and what you do. You're telling them the value that you bring, the problem you solve, and who you solve it for, and the end benefit that they will have for working with you. So again, this is another slide that I would recommend you taking a screenshot of and spend some time creating your value proposition. This, when you're able to write this out and really resonate it, that's when you know you have a clear business idea, a clear product and service that you know you're going to be offering to your customer. So your product pricing and revenue models. So we're going to look at now several different revenue models that you can use. There's a transactional revenue, which is basically a product for pay. It's transactional. I have this product or service and you pay me for it. That's it. One time, one and done. You also have the project revenue. Well, here you're kind of getting paid for the value that you bring, or you can get paid hourly on a retainer basis. So this is a large project maybe that you're going to do for someone. And to give you an example, we do project revenue based, and it's a website. So that would be considered a project. We'll build a website and we build it based on the value that we provide. We price it out based on the value of the website. There are some web designers that price out based on hourly work. There's some who do retainers. There's so many different options, and you have to figure out what works best with you and what works best with your company, with your customer. So again, for us, and I'm just using this business as an example, with the website, that's a project. So again, and we base it on value. Same thing with the coaching and consulting I do. Now that's going to be a little bit different. It's project based, but we do that on an hourly or retainer basis. Next, you have your service revenue. Again, you're providing a service. This can oftentimes be transactional as well. And then you have your recurring, I'm sorry, I'm missing my slides here, but then you have your recurring revenue, which is, I recommend, regardless of whatever type of business you're in, you find some way to establish some type of recurring revenue, because that's really the only way you can scale and grow your business. You want to have some type of subscription, membership, or monthly plan where you are constantly providing service and or some type of service or value, not necessarily a service, but it could just be constant value that you're providing. Maybe you're sending them a newsletter with free information, or maybe you're providing some type of guidance on a regular basis. Maybe they're part of your private Facebook group, and they pay to be a part of that on a monthly basis. So those are just some different ideas on how you can create recurring revenue around an intellectual capital, some type of knowledge base. It could be they're part of a membership and they constantly get new information through your blogs or through your magazine or your online portals, whatever those may be. But again, this is one I really recommend you have some type of recurring revenue, because that's the only way you're really going to be able to consistently know what your income is going to be as a business owner. So. And then there's affiliate revenue. You guys have probably seen and heard of affiliate revenue before. You partner with someone or an organization or another product or service that usually complements the service that you're offering. So I have some affiliates on my website. I don't really promote it or market it a lot, but there are a lot of services that I offer my clients, and where they can go and purchase from one of my affiliates, and I may make a few dollars off of that as an affiliate. So that's one way you can do affiliate marketing. Another way is to partner with someone else, and then you guys work out a relationship where you pay each other for referring business back and forth. So you become affiliates in that way. And then there's the freemium version where you offer something for free. You have a product or a service and you have different levels. You start off with the free level. They get a certain service level for free, and then they can upgrade as they go along. And you guys have seen this with I think Pandora, all the different apps, most of them have a freemium level, right? You can join for free, but if you want the real good stuff, then you got to pay for it, right? So that's the freemium model. And that's something that works well with coaching and consulting, because you can always offer a free course. And then if they want the one-on-one coaching, then they can upgrade and make that purchase. So that's a great way to build your clientele as well. So once you know who your customer is, you know your product and your service, you know who you're marketing to, then you want to start building your brand. And building your brand, your website is definitely and these are not my words as a web designer. These are the words of Michael Hyatt, publisher. Your website is undoubtedly the single most important branding tool you can have. And I tell people all that if you are in business in 2021 and you don't have a website, your own website, not a Facebook page, then you're behind the times. A website in 2021 is like a business card in 1960, right? People want to validate you. They want to see that your website validates you, and people want to know that you're real, that you're legitimate, that they can find you. You're not just someone out here that's hustling. So your website is very, very important. Why you want to build your brand online? Again, that website will provide legitimacy. And there's a certain perceived value that you present on your website. And I mean, just think about it. When you want to know something about a company, probably the first thing you're going to do is Google them or go to their website, right? And if their website looks or or it doesn't look professional, you're probably going to second guess that company and probably take your business elsewhere, right? Impressions are very, very important. And so that website, that professionally designed logo and strategically crafted message will help to establish a level of credibility and trust for your current and prospective buyers. So it's very, very important. Again, another reason why your website is important is because you will own your website. Whereas if you're just doing things on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, none of those platforms belong to you, right? And they can change the rules at any moment. You can lose all of your information that's been stored there. And so you want to have your own domain online. So now we have the action plan. I have given you guys quite a bit of information, and I did it pretty quickly because we're halfway. We're at 10:30 now, and we only have and that was the bulk of the presentation. So I am going to have time for questions. But before I do that, I want to again recommend that you take a screenshot of this particular slide because this is going to be your homework. I want this time that we spent together today to be fruitful for you. I mean, there's so many Zooms and webinars and workshops, so much going on. I want to make sure that your time is valuable. I understand that your time is valuable, and so I want to make sure that I'm adding value to you today here. But the only way we can really do that is if you take the information that I've given you and apply it. So here is the action plan. I want you to do these things here. One, I want you to get very clear and define the offer that you have. What is the offer? Think about the problem that you solve. And your problem does not necessarily have to be your exact problem statement. My problem statement for my dissertation was my problem statement was small minority and women small business owners receive fewer and less government contracts than their non-minority counterparts. That was the problem statement, right? So, but the problem that I solve is helping minority and women small business owners get more and higher contracts than ever before. So it's related, but it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically that, right? I also help other small business owners. And with the dissertation, sometimes we have to narrow that problem statement down so narrow just to be able to get it approved. But you can go beyond that for your business. So think about who all is going to benefit from the problem that you solve. You don't necessarily have to stick specifically to the population that you identified in your study. It's a good starting point, but you're probably not going to want to stick to just that population. So think about that, define your offer. The next thing is I want you to write your unique value proposition based on the formula in the slide I presented earlier. Write your unique value proposition and then identify your target market and create a client profile. And what I mean by a client profile is I want you to write out who is your ideal client. What do they look like? Are they male, female? What age group are they in? What demographic are they in? Where do they live? Where do they shop? Where do they spend their time? Why do you want to know all these things? Because you want to make sure that you are spending your time in places where these people are spending their time so that you can have those conversations. You want to be able to tailor your message to speak directly to these people. And so if your target audience is millennials, your conversation and the way you target these millennials is going to be a lot different than if your target audience is people 50 and up, right? So again, you want to know who that target market is. Not only is your message going to be different, where you put that message. Millennials, again, you're probably not going to be sending them a lot of emails or snail mail, letters in the mail. You're going to text, chat with them online. You're going to want to make sure that your platform relates to them. And again, just depending on who that is, it's very important that you have a very clear understanding of who your target market is. So identify your target market and create your client profile, and then establish your brand. Start thinking about what do you want to look and sound like online. Again, your colors are important. You may want to spend some time doing some research on what colors mean, through psychology. Colors are important. Fonts are important. All of those things are important, but ultimately you want something that represents you, right? You don't want to use a Comic Sans font for a banking business or for a financial institution, something very serious, right? So all of these things are important when you are discussing your brand and establishing your brand. Then I want you to connect with your audience through social and professional networking groups. Remember how important I said networking is? So start figuring out where these people are hanging out, and you start hanging out there as well. When you're starting your business, I'm not saying go and join every chamber or every professional group out there, because that can get to be very, very expensive. However, chambers are always offering workshops and luncheons and things that you can pay $15 or $20 just to attend, and you're going to meet people there. And I would recommend going to a few of those events before deciding where you're going to join. BNI is a great networking group. I'm a part of that, and is definitely, there is a significant investment in that. So you want to make sure that you're there with the level of your business to do that, but absolutely decide where those networks are and how you are going to actively get involved in those. In addition to establishing those networks, the next thing is to create your pricing model. Figure out how much can you charge for the product that you're offering. We defined our offer back in the very first block. So now, how can you make a profit from this offer? What can the market withstand? You're going to need to do some research and see, okay, I'm sure there's someone out there. There's nothing new under the sun, right? So there's someone out there that's offering something like or similar to what you're offering. What is the average price for that price point for that offer, for that product, or for that service? Figure out, again, once you figure out what you can charge for it, then you also need to figure out how much is it going to cost you to produce this. And remember, time is money. So even though you may think that it's not going to cost you anything because you're just maybe you're doing coaching and you're just sitting on the phone having a conversation, well, you're probably going to be making sure you have a good internet connection. If you're doing Zoom, you're going to have some marketing expenses behind that. You're going to have, there's a lot of things that go into even offering a service. So don't think that just because you're offering a service and you don't have to purchase something to provide that service, that it's going to be completely free for you to launch this business. So you want to be very careful when you're creating that pricing model and making sure that your pricing model is profitable for you and that you consider all of the expenses that may be involved. Next, you can establish your online and offline selling platforms if you don't already have a website. In my other presentation, and I'll probably be doing a part 2 soon that I'll offer maybe in a month or so, I will share a lot of resources, or if you reach out to me, I'd be happy to even share that presentation. I've done it before here at the Black Doctoral Network, but I do share a lot of DIY tools if you want to build your own website and establish your own online presence, because I completely understand, again, as a small business, especially as a startup, you kind of want to test the waters before you go and drop $5,000 on a website, right? So I do offer some DIY tools there. And then again, somebody's going to get a free website today. So hopefully you guys have some business ideas and are ready to get going with that. And there are some low cost. We do have startup prices as well, but there's so many things that you can do. And again, if you're just testing the waters and testing out the idea, you want to make sure that you're minimizing your costs up front, because it is very expensive to start a business and launch a business. And there's so much that goes into it. So, so you want to establish that online and offline selling platform. How are you going to sell your product? Are you going to sell your product or service offline? Or if you're doing a coaching or consulting, are you going to meet with your clients face-to-face? Is it all going to be online via Zoom or group meetup or Google Meetup or whatever? You have to think about how you're going to actually deliver the product or service that you're offering. And then finally, launch your business and turn your research into revenue. So once you've taken these steps, you will be able to actually have an official business. Of course, you've got to go through all of the legal steps. You want to get your DBA or LLC if you decide to go that route. There are some more official steps that go into starting a business. But today, I really wanted to talk with you, not necessarily about the logistics of starting a business, because you can look that up, Google that online, how to get a DBA, how to get an LLC, and work through that. but this was specifically about taking your intellectual capital, taking your research, your dissertation, your studies, or even your personal experience, all the years of experience, all the years of hard work that you've put in, and again, getting a return on that investment that you've made in yourself. And doing that by launching a business that can support you and your family. Next, it's time for us to announce the winners. So I want to ask Brittany, have you had an opportunity to get everyone into the, to get everyone in, all of their names?
Yes, I have. Right before I do that, you did have a question and a. You want to do your question first, or you want to do?
Let's do the question. We'll address that first.
Let's go back. The question is for, excuse me if I mess your name up. I want to say it's Sharon, but it's Sharn. Sharon. Networking at conferences. What would you suggest to be effective?
That's a very good question. Networking at conferences. So networking, regardless of wherever you're doing it, I want you to remember that it's not about selling. Wherever you go, don't go with the thought of selling your product or your service. Think about it. All of us have probably been approached. Well, if you've gone to networking events before and someone comes and shoves their business card in your face and you have no clue who this person is, what do you do with those business cards when you get home? Probably throw them away, right? So, I'm really bad about even remembering to bring my business cards, and I don't recommend you doing like that. Absolutely take business cards wherever you go, wherever you go, but don't be in such a rush to pull out your business card. I'll usually wait until someone will ask me for my business card, or I'll ask them for theirs if they have a service or product or something that I'm interested in. But when you go to these conferences, they are a great opportunity for you to network, because usually everyone there they're like-minded around some topic. But try to build relationships, try to talk to as many people as you can and actually get to know them, right? It's not about selling your product. It's not about, putting your business card and, just making sure you can give out as many business cards as you can. It's about building relationships, connecting with people beyond the conference. That's the other really big part where most people tend to mess up, is they'll go to a conference, they'll meet some great people, and then they never speak to them again, right? Because they did not connect. So unless you have some type of follow-up process in place, meaning you're going to take all those business cards and as soon as you get home, you're going to enter them in your database, or you're going to send emails or text messages out, then make sure that you connect with them right there on the spot. I've tried to get into the habit of, when I meet someone and there's a common interest there, I'm like, hey, are you on LinkedIn? Can we connect? That way we can have the conversation. Every now and then I'll try to spend some time going through my LinkedIn connections and just seeing who's there, who I've not spoken with in a while, and reach out to that person. But yes, conferences can be a very great place to network. Again, it's just not about selling or giving as many business cards. It's about building relationships.
To piggyback that, the next question from Sharon, I hope I'm saying your name right. I please charge it to my head and not my heart. What if you are the presenter at the conference?
Well, like I said, I consider this networking opportunity because I'm going to ask each of you to go and connect with me on LinkedIn. Some of you will, some of you may, and that's fine. As the presenter, my main purpose here today is to provide value. And what I have found is that providing value to people, they remember you, right? And so a lot of you probably here just because you have an idea for a business and you may not be in the market for a website, but at some point down the line, you're going to need a website, or someone may need a website, and hopefully you'll remember the Clever site. Maybe somewhere down the line, you may want coaching on launching your business. You may want, you may need a consultant on government contracting, or something where I have a certain level of expertise, and maybe you'll think of me. Some of networking is just about, getting your name out there, meeting as many people as you can, but truly building relationships. And again, I can't say it enough. There's really no way as the presenter, especially in Zoom, where you can, like I said, have as many, build as many personal relationships. I don't know how many are on the call today, but I can't meet one-to-one with you right now, but I can definitely try to, like I said, ask you to connect with me outside of this platform. So I would recommend doing that. What else? What else would I recommend? Networking when you're the presenter. If you're presenting in person, people always want to talk to the presenter after the presentation. So be ready to hang around. Don't rush off the stage, and don't come. Make sure you hang around. Make sure you're there. And always, always, always make sure you provide your contact information. That's why I have it in my there's my office number there, and I'm probably covering up my website there, but always make sure that people know how to contact you when you're giving a presentation. Mine is, you check me on my website. I've asked Brittany to put the link in there. So as a presenter, don't think that people will automatically know how to reach out to you just because you are presenting. So make sure to offer that information to them. If it's in person, share your social media links so that people can do it right while they're sitting right there. If it's online, put it in the chat so people can connect to you in that moment. Networking is about the moment. Don't wait until after. After is for follow-up. It's not about trying to reach them. That's just about follow-up. Any other questions?
Dr. Paula Anderson said, no question, just agreement that speaking engagement helps with exposure to your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look how many people I got exposed to today just by showing up, right? So, and I've done this particular presentation, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times now. And I've gotten clients from it, and I've built some relationships from it. And so it's awesome. Like I said, I really enjoy doing it. I really, really enjoy doing it. I love helping people, and I love sharing information as much as I can. So it's really a benefit that, you get clients, or you get, referrals and things from these types of opportunities. But and I know a lot of people don't like speaking. I like helping people. I don't even look at it as a speaking engagement. I look at it as an opportunity to share what I've learned to grow my business. And like I said, that's what I'm passionate about. That's why I did my research and my study on identifying best practices of minority and women small business owners in government contracting, because I realized that there is an amazing amount of money in government contracting to be made. I had the experience to work on a government contract, and I learned so much, but I also learned again that minority and women small business owners are not getting the fair share of the pie, but there are some that are. So I took that and I said, okay, let me find those minority and women small business owners who are being successful in government contracting and get them to share what they're doing right, and even the mistakes that they made, so that we can avoid them. And now I take that and I share that with my coaching clients.
The next question comes from Dr. Tivy Whitlock. Getting started is the hardest thing when everything seems so overwhelming and it's just you. Mm-hmm. Any ideas on resources and feedback on getting started? Clearly and effectively defining the problem you solve and the value you bring.
Absolutely. I absolutely recommend hiring a business coach. It was one of the best things I could have done for my business. Even though I am a business coach, I have a business coach even today, because I'm still looking to grow my business to greater heights. But I've always had a mentor, a business mentor, spiritual mentor. I believe in mentorship. But it wasn't until I invested in a business coach, because this person is accountable to me because I'm paying, right? And I'm accountable. They hold me accountable to myself, which is not only that, they give me different ideas, different perspectives. And getting started, it is extremely, extremely overwhelming. If you're not at a point where you can invest in a business coach, then I recommend you trying to form some type of mastermind group. What is a mastermind group? Basically, it's a group who are like-minded, trying to do the same thing. So maybe find 3 or 4 people, who are business at the time you are. And now we're virtual, so they don't even necessarily have to be in the same place, right? But hold each other accountable. Meet once a week or twice a month, or something, so that you're setting your goals together and you're having discussions. entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey. Again, I said that early on in the beginning because it's real. But if you try to do it by yourself, trust me, it's going to take you twice, if not 10 times as long than if you were to have a business coach, someone to hold you accountable, and someone to pave the way to. You're going to have questions. You're absolutely going to have questions. I made so many mistakes in the beginning. I've spent so much unnecessary money. And so now that's why, again, I want to save you from making those mistakes. And that's what a business coach does. So absolutely believe in coaching. Absolutely believe in mastermind groups, accountability groups. That's what I would recommend to get started, because yes, it can be overwhelming. What a business coach will do is help you to prioritize what you need to get done first, and then even provide you with those resources and with those tools. But there are tons of resources, tons of free resources available to you. Go to the sba.org website. There's tons of resources there, depending on what type of research. And there's so much free information available. If you have a question, Google it, put it in YouTube. I mean, you guys are researchers. You know how to find the answers that you need. You can get the answers to the questions that you have. That's not necessarily so much what the coach is for. Again, that coach is to guide you and to hold you accountable, to help you prioritize and to get clear, especially in the beginning. My clever strategy that I use with my clients starts with it's based on CLEVER, and it's based on information. It's built on the platform of my research, but that C is about clarity. Being clear on your vision, being clear about the service and the product that you are going to provide. That's the very first thing I do with my clients who are starting up. So, but that's basically my answer in a nutshell. There's tons of free resources out there for you. Take advantage of those resources. I can share some more. I didn't have as many of the resources that I have a lot in my other presentation are mainly about branding. And so if you want those, you can reach out to me online. I'd be happy to share those. But again, coach, mastermind groups, online groups, there's don't do it by yourself. Don't try to do it by yourself. Next question.
Yes, Dr. Dietra German asked.
Hi, Dr. Dietra.
I got excited too when I saw her name.
She's my classmate, another classmate. Go ahead.
What type of insurance would you recommend for someone starting a consulting business?
Yes, there is. Well, I would save that question. Deidre, email me and we'll talk about that, because it's going to depend a little bit on the type of business that you need. And I definitely don't give legal advice, but you are going to want, and I'm drawing a blank. It's exceptions, and there's a specific name for the insurance, and I can get that information for you. Yes, you do want to have that. But again, I can share and even give you some resources and recommendations to go that route. Shoot me an email and I'd be happy to answer.
I have put Dr. Tanisha and my information into the chat. I will put it again before the webinar is over, so you all can reach out to her via LinkedIn, and my information as well is in there for emails if you're unable to.
Okay, are we ready for the contest? I'm excited. Let me just say, this person is going to win a free one-page WordPress website. So and hopefully you had an opportunity to look at Notary, which is Brittany Reed's website. She has a mobile notary service that she launched. And so we built her website. You will be getting something of this quality, something equivalent to this. So, okay, you can go ahead and can you share your screen now, Brittany? I gotta move quickly because I have another free gift I want to share as well.
Okay.
Should I stop sharing? I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, there you go.
Shares. Put this down. Okay.
Here we go. Dr. Valencia Moses, are you here? Got to be on to win, Dr. Valencia Moses. Are you here? Unmute. Is she still here?
Is she here? Let me see. Participant. Oh no, please be here.
If not, we may have to draw another winner.
Did she get off? Let's see. I'm gonna, in case she's not here, we have, oh no. Okay.
Dr. Sharn. Wonderful. Let's see, Dr. Sharn, are you here? I hope so.
Yes, I'm here. Unfortunately, I'm at home, so my dog is having a field day. He wants to be in on the conference too, on the workshop too. So I'll mute for a second because it's being recorded. So sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Trust me. Every time Brittany and I get on a meeting, my dog wants to act up. So I understand. I'm so glad he's not in here today. Well, congratulations, Dr. Sharn. Can you tell us a little bit about the type of business that you're looking to launch or have launched?
Okay, it looks like he's gone to the other room. Yes, I've had multiple opportunities, possibly as a serial entrepreneur, if you will. I've done educational consulting in the past, but my expertise and passion is around principal coaching and leadership development. So I would like to expand my research, which is internationally recognized, focused on transformational leadership in K-12 schools, what I'm hoping to do.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm actually working with another client now that's in education in that same arena. So that's wonderful. So I'm going to ask you to share your contact information with Brittany in the chat, please. Your email address. And then we'll be reaching out to you to schedule your your design consultation. And we'll also be, once we build the website, we will also be promoting you on our social media links. So you guys all be on the lookout for that. So congratulations once again, Dr. Sharn.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I have one more presentation. So I'm going to share one more gift because I like gifts. Giving, let's see, is this one or two? I'm going to try to share my screen again. Here we go. Two. I think this is it. Okay. And so, because I want to leave everyone with something, my gift to you today is my ebook, Get Paid to Share Your Knowledge, How to Start Creating Your Course or Digital Product. So remember, that was one of the products that we talked about. A way for you to productize your expertise is through a course or a digital product, whether that be a webinar or a membership course. Great ways to do recurring revenue. You can get your free ebook if you text the word clever, CLEVER, to 66866. Okay. So that is my free gift to all of you today. And I want to say once again, thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you for the wonderful questions. Hopefully you all will connect with me on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email if you have questions or there's anything I can do to help. Also, Brittany, would you go ahead and put my Calendly link for the discovery call? If you are interested in scheduling a free 30-minute discovery call, just to kind of, we can kind of talk about your idea. I can learn a little bit more about your research and hopefully give you some guidance there. And it's calendly.com/the clever site. And if you would select, when you go to my calendar, you can select the discovery call, and that will give you my calendar for a free, like I said, free 30-minute discovery call about your research. It is 10:58. I am all done. I'm going to hand it back over to Dr. Scherer.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone for joining in this morning on Dr. Lemille's workshop, Turning Research into Revenue. Establishing your brand is a great opportunity. And some of the tips that you gave were awesome, especially with, business coaching, having a business coach to help you. We all cannot do this in isolation. So it was great tips that you had. We really appreciate you taking the time out to join us, the participants this morning on the workshop. I did put a link into the chat room for a survey, so please complete the survey before you leave, or it will be posted later on again to this evening. But I just want to thank everyone for joining this morning on the webinar. And Dr. Lamille, we just thank you again. Great idea, great topic, business entrepreneur. Thank you for sharing and being open with your conversation and feedback and being such a generous giver.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure to be here today. And I hope to connect with all of you guys online.
All right. Well, everyone, you have a great day.